Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair, the purpose of this report is to provide council with the committee's goals and objectives proposal for seniors drop-in programming, specifically the more wellness focused one with the recreation programming idea to be incorporated into the recreation master plan.
So there's a long recommendation, which is included in your report. I'm gonna move for that, please. Got the senior to do it. Councilor Spillis. And Councilor Bailey. All right, questions or comments? Councilor Bailey?
Yeah, I think this is pretty awesome. I think it's a great use of an existing building that we already have that's accessible to seniors. And it sounds like there'll be no impact on increasing staff resources. So again, that's great. I was happy to see that we'll be tracking the attendance and that there's measures in place to gauge success of the pilot. So that's always a good thing. At Safe Communities meetings, we often talk about the concern about people living in isolation, especially in rural communities and especially for seniors. So this is a great opportunity for socialization for seniors and connecting people in the community. One thing, and I don't know if this was discussed, it would be interesting to hear how participants feel before the program starts and then how they're feeling after, just as a way to gauge kind of mental health improvements or benefits with something like that. So I don't know if I can throw that back at the committee to just consider. A question I had is, how long is the pilot going? Don't know if it's at that.
1 year. So if we start November 2025, it would be then done October 2026.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a whole year. And then I think we mentioned that we put it in the calendar.
Mhm.
So what will it say on the calendar? I want it to be clear that people know that they don't have to register for it and that there's no fees. So
Through you, Mr. Chair, we will probably put we can put that it's free and you don't have to register, like seniors programming, and then probably what the specific programming is after, depending on what the subcommittee decides it will be.
okay.
And through our advertisement of it, we'll make sure to include that it's free, no sign up required.
Like, would there be detail where it said senior drop-in euchre? Like, would it actually say that in detail? Oh,
I
okay,
think so. I think that's the intention, yeah.
that'd be great. Okay.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. Good job to the committee.
Yeah, I'm supportive. Yeah, I like the idea of pilot, tracking metrics. I think the questions Councillor Bailey asked were very much where my head was at around communicating it, knowing that it's focused on that subset of society, making sure our communication tactics are in line with how they generally consume information. Good job.
That was very excellent job. I'm really impressed with how intensive the survey was. You broke it down by age group and the interest that people had, even if they had so many interest in lacrosse of all things. Wow. Anyway, I was just gonna ask Justine, with respect to the pay program, can you just outline what you plan to do to realize this sometime in the future?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. So staff are looking to explore kind of programming opportunities through our review of the Recreation and Parks Master Plan. So some of the things that we want to look at in terms of if we're going to implement these kinds of programs, what kind of insurance requirements we might need to consider, if there's any softwares that we would want to implement for program registration. We might want to issue an RFP to understand what kind of contractors would be interested in providing programming, understand what pricing is available. So just a really comprehensive look at all of the aspects we need to consider to implement this kind of programming. So that's in a fulsome way.
Thank you. It's a very solid methodical approach to right the first time.
Is the intent for staff to have the rooms set up and ready to go for one? I just hate to see that this hour and a half turn into an hour because of setup and takedown. So if we have to block off the room, from 12:30 to 3 versus so provided even an hour and a half, if you get into euchre card, it could go quickly, right?
Mhm.
So I guess that's the question. Staff will have the room ready for one.
Yeah. Through you, Mr. Chair, we can ensure that facility staff have it ready for one and then block it off maybe a little before and after.
And I know there's a whole plethora of different activities, but I know my mother-in-law came back from Texas, and she's got us all playing mahjong. Heard of this?
I have.
It's a fun game. I'm still trying to figure out the strategy, because I like to win. I've been very successful, but, will there be a call? So just being traditional euchre, I don't know, games, that maybe open it up to people that want to teach a new, say, mahjong. Euchre.
Through Mr. Chair, I think we could do that. It's kind of, the way we've left it is it's up to the subcommittees to kind of run it to the best of their ability, but from a staffing perspective, we can give them any sort of ideas that we would like to see fit.
Sure, excellent, no, I think it's great. It'll, I like the direction of taking the community center back towards a community-oriented center versus just a hall rental. That'd be kind of an experience, so get some groups in there using it for this type of activity, it's excellent, so. All right,
So,
all in favor? That's carried. You're not going anywhere.
Through you, Mr. Chair, this report is to seek council's approval with adding a goal and objective for the Heritage Advisory Committee. It's kind of the last subset of properties for heritage designation that are on our current township register.
So we see the list there. Can I move in a second for that? Councilor Hurst, Councilor Bailey, questions or comments?
no, I think we've asked this before. So you're saying this is the last batch? Do you know how many, once we get to the end of this, how many properties we've? Not
Sure.
all processed. but
Yeah,
just-
through you, Mr. Chair, we had about 110 on the Heritage Register to start with. That has slowly kind of gone down as we've heard of property owners that have appealed or are not interested in the process any longer. We currently have about 45 that are designated. And then there's a couple different batches that the committee is working through right now in addition to this one as well. So,
Okay, and this is, I think I saw in the minutes from the Heritage Committee that was up in our consent agenda, but it just, it's appearing that our first batch, we had sort of one person, one property maybe not interested, and as we've gone down into our batches, more aren't as in favor of, partnering to designate. Do we know why? Is there any indication why there seems to be more at the end not willing to designate?
through Mr. Chair, I think it's a variety of reasons. These are more like residential properties in general versus the other ones to start with, we did were more churches.
Yeah.
I think they're hearing that you can easily, once we hear that a property owner isn't interested, we're letting them know the process if they weren't wanting to be taken out of it. Versus before, we were still pushing forward with that property owner. I think oftentimes we hear it's the insurance reason that they don't want to be designated. They've heard that they won't be insured any longer. They have misconceptions on the price of the home going down, if it's designated. Those types of
Okay,
things.
so some of this still similar issues to at the beginning.
Totally. It's not like we've heard a new grand idea that,
Yeah.
of why.
Okay, no, I think this is great. It would be really neat to know at the end what percentage. And I don't know how we compare to other municipalities. I think we're still quite high. And it would be neat to celebrate that, just as we're coming near the end of our, end of our batching. Good job.
And Josie?
Yeah, I think maybe one other additional comment to just build on Laura's would be, I think we're at the tail end of these properties now, so like the list in front of you is the last kind of batch to go through the process, and I would say, just in speaking on behalf of the Heritage Advisory Committee, a number of these properties are just, we're light on the documentation of them. And how the Heritage Committee first prioritized the properties, if we go back 3 years, it was the ones that we had the best data on were the first batch type of thing. So we're working through that process, but I would submit that probably after this is all said and done, we'll be way over 50% of the properties that were on that initial list have gone through the full designation. I'd argue that this community, compared to any other Ontario community that was going through this heritage designation, would be like in the top 5% type of thing. Like, I would be shocked if we weren't. But a lot of that's like to the staff that have just shepherded this. These aren't always easy conversations.
Yeah, I'd like to pass on kudos to Council Hurst and his committee and the staff that participated. Remember, we started off, we had a big, long list type of thing, and committee went through, as you mentioned, Council Hurst prioritizing and hitting the key ones first and working through it. I think it's very, as you said, your committee is probably in the top 5%. They're very focused on what has to be done, and the staff focused on supporting the endeavor and came up with a great product.
Great work by everybody. First read, I thought we were designating the township office. Cause it's 7704 Washington Road 36, not 34. Right? I'm like, wow, I don't know how often that happens in the township, but the numbers are the same and just the county road changes, but when I first read, I was like, what? This was 36, but great.
Kind of
Not that
legend
old.
here.
Yeah, it's been-
If you need it.
The map, we can, that's.
No, and I know that it's been challenging for staff. Some of the engagements with the community have been difficult. I applaud your perseverance and, you know, just sticking with the process and the great work. So I'm glad to see it's coming to an end, and I mean, there'll be other projects. So we have that resolution in front of us. All in favor? The other members have their right. It's yours. 9.4, Laura.
Thank you.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the purpose of this report is to provide council with proposed amendments to the township's property standards bylaw and AMPS bylaw that would enable staff to enforce the property standards bylaw through AMPS. Further, through this amendment, staff are also recommending provisions be implemented in the property standards bylaw related to shipping containers and transport truck trailers where they're not permitted by the zoning bylaw. This is similar to what staff have found in other municipalities' property standards bylaws. I think some questions.
Recommendation.
Yes, so to receive the report and the council give three readings to bylaw 2025-076, being a bylaw to amend the township's property standards bylaw. And the council give 3 readings to bylaw 2025-077, being a bylaw to amend the township's AMPS bylaw.
Mover, please. Councilor Hurst, Councilor Lewis, questions, comments?
Yeah, I do. I guess I was just looking for clarification. I'm just wondering if staff can speak to how the AMPS can be used for the property standard violations versus the current tool of the Part 3 summons. Just wondering how that would impact residents and the bylaw officer. So how we're looking at it from staff perspective, and from residents.
Sure, through you, Chair. So currently under Part 3 summons, the township's ability to enforce would be issuing the Part 3 summons to have the property owner take it to court. And having that be the process to address that enforcement. By adding AMPS as an enforcement mechanism, we are able to issue fines or penalties, which provides opportunities for education and then potentially fines, and then in egregious circumstances, we would still have the ability to spread free summons, but it provides that kind of graduated education through enforcement process.
Okay. And in terms of timing, does it reduce the processing time? So, or can it reduce?
Through your Part 3 summons are a lengthy process. It continues to move through the court system with that kind of enforcement. So with AMPS, the process to kind of move through fines would be maybe a few months.
I was just gonna ask the CEO to give a bit of a high level perspective on the costs of going through Part 3 summons.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to Mr. Chair, just to build on what our clerk had said, with a court process through provincial offenses, a Part 3 summons is what that is. The township has to retain a lawyer, so that's a huge expense, in addition to how much time it takes. It's also a very, so it's a very complicated process even for residents to navigate on their own. Oftentimes they will even get their own legal counsel to help navigate that. So it's costs on both sides. And so what AMPS will do is not only shorten the amount of time that it takes, but it also just makes it a much more navigatable process. It's more accessible, and you can sort of see something resolved in a matter of, a month or two versus years.
That's what I was feeling was what would happen. So it's good to hear that that could help residents actually in terms of time and cost. And then the other question I have, I said, will the AMPs cover all the different levels of offenses? So if there's a serious offense, can you talk me through how far AMPs goes before, and or do you still have the option to do the Part 3 summons?
So through you, Mr. Chair, we can't issue, or once an AMP ticket has been issued, you can't go through Part 3 summons for the same offense. So if there are further offenses, there would be that opportunity down the line. The AMPs there's penalty amounts, so it's a set penalty amount. There are sometimes penalty amounts for, that increase for, second, subsequent, charges. So there's that opportunity, if there's subsequent offenses that take place. But it's not like a scale of, it's not a scale based on severity. It's based on what the offense is that's in the bylaw, and then there's an associated set fine with it. Now, if it's a continuing offense, staff can continue to issue AMPs penalty notices. So in that way, it can compound over time.
Yeah.
But it's not a sliding scale.
Okay, so you can't then, after a certain amount of time, say, okay, this is not working, we're gonna jump to a
There would have to be
3 summons. Okay. Thanks.
First,
Yeah, I'm supportive. I just, maybe one request, when the timing is right, because I know the AMPS process is relatively new for this municipality, but on an annual basis or at some point in the future, I'll leave it with you, Courtney, to kind of plan for this, but it would be of interest to just track the number of meetings that or I'd say number of infractions that were remedied through the AMPS process without getting into the confidential information. But I think as a member of council, what I'm quite interested and intrigued with AMPS is less legal fees, less time from an HR standpoint spent doing the back and forth aspect of it. So I think I'm good with it. Move on, but I think that more is the end game. What I'd be really interested in at some point when you have data that you think you could share.
so I feel what I'm hearing is track compliance to the infraction through AMPS versus compared to the historic route of the provincial offenses. Cause I'd be interested in that as well, because I know some of these alleged offenses are years worked through the system. Whereas we'll see this maybe take, as the clerk mentions, months. So I mean, get data to have those governors.
I just wonder if there's a loophole in here that somebody could use. You're focusing on truck trailers. What about a truck? Somebody can have a truck trailer on it and say, well, it's part of the truck. So how is that a loophole? Somebody could say, it's part of a truck. Here's my truck trailer.
So through Mr. Chair, we do have interpretations that we've made with our zoning bylaw. There are certain permissions and there's definitions that we follow when we're looking at exactly what you said, if it's permitted in that certain zone. But I think the idea, and the court can expand on if needed, is that the property standards bylaw would deal with specific things related to the trailers, knowing that there are some permissions for trucks to be located on properties based on the zoning.
So a guy has this trailer on a truck, that's okay.
Depends on the zoning, but there is discretion as well built in for our officer, so just to prevent those types of loopholes.
No, I'm supportive. This is great, and I look forward to reducing the cost and getting that compliance in our township.
Yeah, I agree. This is a path towards more compliance. So the people that will be involved in this process may not see it as a cost savings. They'll have a different perspective on it, but for a corporation as a whole, and the taxpayer as a whole, this hopefully will save us some fees or a lot of fees and bring, the ultimate goal is compliance. And POA has been very difficult to get that compliance. So I'm supportive of it. So all in favor? That's carried. We're on to Conservation Halton. Most of their budget, I can move over a second to receive that. They're not coming to delegate. No. Councilor Spillis, Councilor Bailey. Questions or comments on that budget?
You got one comment first. Oh, sorry, actually.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, no, interesting to see that the RPs have gone up by 4.1%, but that the overall costs have gone down by 4.1%. I just don't understand that logic.
All right, all in favor?
Can't answer that.
All right. 10.2, this is the OPA 139. So the recommendation correspondence item 10.2, County of Wellington is request for comments regarding OPA 131 rural growth policy update be received for information. Can you move it, please? Spillis, Councilor Hurst, any questions or comments on that one? Go ahead, Councilor Hurst, or sorry, Councilor Spillis.
Yeah, I noticed that there's the property behind here is being considered as part of the industrial associated with our building type of thing. And I was wondering that area behind us, is there something that we could use in the future as part of our post expansion? Like if you go look at, I forgot what it is, A7, if you go look at the official plan amendment, look at, I think it's A7 is the plan, they sort of redesignate the brown area in behind. And there's a piece that seems to be sort of landlocked that's close to Brock Road, but it's part of area to be designated. Well, this is behind a building. That's
Well, where's 34? 34 is right here, isn't it? There's right, so A1 has to encompass this building and.
I actually went into the official plan amendment.
Oh. Sorry, so high level, Councilor Spillis, you're hoping to have the designation.
Well, I'm saying high level is there's some industrial lands proposed to be lands to be designated as industrial behind this building here.
Mhm.
And I was wondering if there's some of it we can be used for our needs in the future. I don't know who owns it, whether the county owns it or we own it.
I believe the county is working on some potential uses for that property. I don't want to speak prematurely.
Right.
So. What do you want out of this? Just make staff can look into.
They just have to look into this thing, and there's something there for us.
Let's reach out to the county and find out what those
Mhm.
future uses may be. Or, we can just take that.
We can take it just as, just too formal.
I'll maybe speak to this if everybody. This is being circulated again because it went to county and was approved at. Planning committee, now it's been officially circulated to all the member municipalities. There is some. Rhetoric out there that we're getting growth as a detriment to Erin. The original report stated circulate for information. Just ask staff to say comment. Erin has chosen, to my understanding, to focus on additional residential units for the rural growth. So then the county assigned those 150 units to us to ultimately provide some rural growth for Puslinch. And so this is the official circulation. I feel that I don't think there's anything we need to address
Yep.
further. So I know we've seen this and we kind of already put support behind it, but I don't know if we need to officially submit comments or we just endorse this report.
So through Mr. Chair, we can endorse it and we can just resubmit our comments just to staff at the county, just saying we endorse it and these were our initial, this was the initial support resolution.
Oh, hold on. Oh, great, sorry, so remember they removed. Due to the mineral overlay. D1. And. D2. We had the landowner, I met with him in the front foyer boardroom, and he gave me a letter stating that he wanted to be included. In the boundary expansion, I believe the county is suggesting. So, yes. The county is suggesting that D2 and D4 be removed. I think. Council's position was that they remain in. If we're still of that opinion, we need to. Reaffirm that, which would happen when you submit our comments again, but I think we should highlight it. And I don't know if I forgot to give the letter from the landowner to either yourself. You were gonna take a look and I need to put you on the spot.
That's you, Mr. Chair. We'll go back and see if we can find that. Otherwise, we will contact that landowner and we can. And we'll submit those comments from that individual along with our comments to the county.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cause I met with him and I know I had the letter, I just don't know what I did with it, so, and I have his contact. That I can maybe flip or I'll arrange another meeting, but council, I'd really like to hear from you today if you're still supportive of leaving D1, sorry.
Page.
167 of the entire agenda.
Yeah, yeah.
The little corner, right?
And D2.
Oh, D2.
To me, the legislation for aggregate will supersede or will provide the permissions if they decide or get the. To remove. They own the property and take it under lease, the expansion will not prohibit that. If we don't do it, then no, it won't prohibit the extraction of the minerals. What it will do is cause any landowner in that area that if they want to try to develop it for other means, have to do their own OPA. Go through a ZBA, well, they still do ZBA, but it would be. It's called developer driven boundary expansion. It's just more costly. This is the opportunity to provide opportunity for. More intensification around Everflow, so I would hope we can support leaving D2 and D4 in.
Can we get a copy of the comments that were submitted, or can it be in the minutes at our upcoming meeting?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, we can actually, once we send this to the county, we can just re-forward that to council, so you have a copy of it.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So essentially, if you're still the same. Opinion that D2 and D4 stay in, then they'll just be submitting the original comments, if not, I need to hear from you now.
Stick with. So we had originally keeping it in.
Only other question, like, are they working towards a timeline to have this all wrapped up by?
Yes, they want to submit it to the province by. No, I'm gonna.
Like,
I can't remember if they're in the 90-day window now, because it's been officially circulated, so they can't make amendments, but
It's like December.
yes, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Anything?
No, I'm good, yeah, I found the diagram I was referring to is on page 177.
Oh, our agenda or?
Yeah, our agenda. That brown area, it's
It's
called
close.
transition,
Yeah.
residential, but, in the description, it allows for other uses such as, we have an expansion of our office facility or something.
Yeah, I think staff can reach out and maybe. I mean, there's a break there, though, there's also the green, natural heritage.
Yeah, natural heritage.
And the public meeting will be where?
That's yet to be determined, probably at the county. Chambers, yeah, they didn't provide a date and we circulated, just said that at the appropriate time.
Is there opportunity to have it like live streamed or virtual or
Yes,
something?
no, sorry,
Stream?
we have cameras for county council as a whole, I don't believe. We're doing committees, but I'm not certain about the public meetings yet. It just went live in September, so I can find out.
Just for engagement, try to increase engagement. If folks can't make it downtown Guelph, they could log on and watch.
Yeah, I'll find out if they're gonna, the plan is to live stream the public meetings or not. Did you capture?
Yes, so it's to receive, for information and the council direct staff to endorse the OPA 131 rural growth policy updates. Report and restate its position that areas D1 and D2 be included in the agricultural boundary expansion as the landowner in that area has expressed support for inclusion of the lands.
Only technicality I'm gonna get you on is I have not heard from D4 landowner.
D4.
Yeah, a big chime. I don't know if there's multiple landowners in that one.
I think the way it's worded, we're just speaking of D1 and D2, but,
Sorry, I misspoke. I have not heard from the D1. D2 we have for sure,
not D2.
not reached out. Sorry, I have that backwards. D2, we have a letter. I
Okay.
had a letter.
Yep.
Have not had any correspondence from D1.
Area D2,
Yes,
how's it, so I'll just clarify that.
is still in this representative.
Mhm.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah, all in favor? It's carried. 10.3, I'm just gonna receive this information, I assume.
And the council directs staff to submit the comments from Wellington County Source Water Protection to the ERO posting for the ministry's consideration.
And move for that, please. Suppose, Councilor Hurst, any questions or comments?
No, I'm glad we had our consultant look at it, okay, it, so it's on the books.
All in favor? It's carried. Council reports. So. Want to meet the chair and the CAO of Grand River Conservation Area on Monday morning. It's an introductory meeting as I am now a representative for GRCA and our first meeting is October 24th, I believe. So I'm looking forward to learning about the watershed. One thing I did find out in that meeting is there's approximately 30 wastewater treatment plants that utilize the Grand River. Wow. Yeah. I had no idea. That's a lot. That is a lot. So yeah, some interesting facts and just not on a agenda per se, just looking forward to learning more about the GRCA and the watershed as a whole. We had the 175th anniversary on Saturday with the Helene Bell ceremony for Karen. That went very well. I thought people had beautiful weather for the day. Lots of vendors, maybe staff and comment. We have pretty decent foot traffic of people coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. This year, we believe we had kind of similar levels to last year of around 300 or so nice for traffic.
Yeah, it was a really good day. I had a lot of positive comments just walking around, people saying great work the staff did. So I assume we'll be doing that again next year at some point. I don't even mind vote, it's not October. Anyways. That's all I have for council reports. Anything else that I'm missing? Okay. Yeah. Anything from members here?
Just want to publicly thank, staff for putting on a good 145th anniversary,
45th?
145th,
That was 75.
175.
Missing 30 years.
See, there's moments I got.
I thought you were playing with me.
No, it's a really good show, she
It was.
said, Mr. Mayor, and the staff, really, put a lot of effort, seeing all the vendors there too, it's really nice. Both locations too, type of thing.
Bouncy Castles, fire department was there. It was really good. And the weather held up.
Youth committee.
Yep. I saw them.
Yeah.
I was in their ear a little bit.
Good.
I sorry to hijack this back, but I mentioned, I forget the young man, but he was there when I went to Aberfoyle. I believe he's at Centennial. I said, I will come to Centennial because it's government month or week.
Kenzo.
And I said, get it done. I said, organize it. I didn't want to do it for him. I said, I will come. You set it up, I will be there. He's like, well, it's in Guelph. I said, I don't mind. There's some kids go to Centennial.
Good.
So I put that in the room. Perfect. And I believe, where'd Laura go? She organized I forget the date, October 20th. You should remember this.
Yeah, that's.
Are you, Mr. Chair? I just wanted to-
The 20th, I'm heading to Aberfoyle School, for the same curriculum. Municipal Government Week, so I'll be on the hot seat again there. I always look forward to that at Aberfoyle. Are your children still there?
Do you, Mr. Mayor? No.
Oh, phew, those questions were harsh, Lois. I forgot, we also
Here it is.
attended the Aberfoyle barbecue. Is that an annual one they do? They unveiled their new park in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Fire department was there. There was a lot of parents and,
Yeah.
and the kids there, and the Optimists were there providing food. I got there a little late due to hockey obligations with my kids. And wandering around. The school is amazing.
It's
It's
a good turnout.
I think they do a very good job there. I notice all the different areas that they can do different activities. Is quite robust compared to some other schools, so it's really nice to see. So that was not a good day. Sorry, where did we get down, how we get down there, that rabbit hole?
Started with me.
Yeah, maybe on the 75th. Anyways. Anything else, from the other two members? No. So we're seeing.
Good. It's great. It was a good day.
All right, all in favor? It's Councilor reports. You move. Oh,
Oh.
sorry, Councilor Bailey, Councilor Schools. Now all in favor. Bylaws.
That the following bylaws be taken as read 3 times and finally passed in open council. Bylaw 2025-076 being a bylaw to amend the property standards bylaw, and bylaw 2025-077 being a bylaw to amend AMPS bylaw 43-2025.
Mover, please. Councilor Bailey. Schools. Questions, comments? All in favor? It's carried. Any announcements? Any events coming up? Do we know of? No? Okay, closed session.
Great.
The council should go into closed session under section 239 of the municipal act for the purpose of a confidential report regarding personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and it's related to human resource matter. Confidential report regarding personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employee. That's in relation to the youth advisory committee appointment. We have a number of closed minutes from previous meetings. And confidential report regarding litigation or potential litigation, including matters before the administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, and that's regarding the potential OLT appeal.
All right, can I move, please? Councilor Lewis, Councilor Hurst, all in favor? It's carried.